Before Tom Cruise sprints back into theaters and probably off of a cliff, here's your Mission Impossible recap and everything you need to know before seeing the final reckoning. Let's go. So we kick things off in 1996 with the original Mission Impossible. This one's got a very old school spy thriller type, less explosions, more paranoia. Ethan Hunt is part of an IMF team led by Jim Phelps. Their mission is to stop a mole from stealing a top secret list of undercover agents. Sounds simple enough, but the mission goes sideways fast, like really fast. The whole team gets wiped out in one night and Ethan becomes a prime suspect. Now he's on the run, piecing together clues, breaking into CIA headquarters in that iconic silent heist scene, and uncovering a conspiracy that leads right back to, plot twist, his boss. Yep, Jim Phelps faked his death and framed Ethan. But by the end, Ethan clears his name, exposes Phelps, and the CIA learns that underestimating Tom Cruise is a terrible idea. Next up is Mission Impossible 2, and this one does things a little bit differently. It's directed by John Woo, and it leans hard into style, slow motion, sunglasses, doves, and epic motorcycle battles. Ethan Hunt is basically a rock star spy at this point. Ethan's trying to stop a rogue IMF agent named Sean Ambrose who's stolen a deadly bioweapon called the Chimera and its cure. Ambrose wants to unleash Chimera and make billions off of the cure. Ethan's new ally and love interest is Naya, a skilled thief and Ambrose's ex. Yeah, it's pretty complicated. She even infects herself with the Chimera to buy time, which is a pretty hardcore move. The movie ends with a beachside beatdown with slow motion kicks and a race against time to save Naya. It's not the most subtle film in the series, but it does crank up the action and the style. Now Mission Impossible 3 is where the series really starts to show us what it's capable of. It's directed by J.J. Abrams and it brings emotion, character, and one of the best villains in the entire series. Now at this point, Ethan's kind of semi-retired. He's training new agents and settling down with his fiancée Julia. But of course, the spy life calls him back in. He goes head to head with Owen, who's this arms dealer who's legit terrifying. He doesn't yell, he just promises to ruin your life in the worst ways possible. The mission is to retrieve this mysterious weapon called the Rabbit's Foot. There's a kidnapping, a Vatican infiltration, a rescue in Shanghai, and a brutal bridge ambush with flying cars and drone strikes, but the heart of this film is Ethan's relationship with Julia, and then she gets kidnapped. He's gonna do anything that he possibly can to save her, which leads to a lot of great action for us. But by the end, Ethan survives a brain bomb surgery, he takes down Owen and retrieves the Rabbit's Foot, he reveals his spy identity to Julia, who gets her own taste of the action throughout the entire movie. This is the first time in the series where you really start to feel emotion for these characters. Alright, Ghost Protocol is where the franchise goes full on blockbuster. It's directed by Brad Bird, yeah, the Incredibles guy. This one reboots with tone and style, humor, and skyscraper scaling insanity. Basically, it's a cool movie. Ethan and his new IMF team are framed for blowing up the Kremlin. The IMF is disavowed and Ghost Protocol is activated, and that means no backup, no resources, just vibes and crazy stunts. So the team has to stop Kurt Hendricks, a nuclear extremist who believes that the only way to save humanity is to trigger a world war. Okay, Thanos. Now, as far as highlights in this movie, Ethan's gonna scale the Burj Khalifa in Dubai with suction gloves that do not cooperate, a sandstorm chase, a car park fight scene with rotating platforms, and a clever final act involving a fake-out nuke launch. Now team-wise, we got Simon Pegg's Benji getting a lot more screen time, and rightfully so. We have Paula Patton as the fierce Jane Carter, and Jeremy Renner as Brent, this mysterious analyst with a secret past connected to Ethan's wife. Next up, we're getting Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Now we're getting into the MCQ era. Christopher McQuarrie takes the reins, and suddenly this franchise starts to build a universe and a really solid identity. Ethan's now up against the Syndicate, a rogue shadow organization made up of former agents from around the world. So think of them as this evil twin to the IMF. And even though there's tons of evidence that these people are around this organization is real, no one believes Ethan, so the CIA is trying to shut the IMF down completely, and Ethan goes rogue. He meets a woman named Ilsa, who's played by Rebecca Ferguson. She's a British agent who may or may not be on anyone's side. She's smart, she's lethal, and constantly saving Ethan's butt. It ends with Ethan outsmarting the Syndicate's leader, Solomon Lane, by trapping him in a literal glass box. There are big themes here. Who watches the spies, the cost of loyalty, and Ethan's refusal to sacrifice innocent lives for the mission. And then we hit Fallout, the magnum opus. This one takes everything that we love about Mission Impossible, cranks it up to 100, and cranks it up even more. This one's a banger. After a failed mission where Ethan chooses to save Luther over securing plutonium, classic Ethan, 3 nukes go missing. The Apostles, the remnants of the Syndicate, are planning a global catastrophe. Solomon Lane is back, and there's a new wildcard, CIA agent August Walker, who's played by Henry Cavill, who's basically a tank in a suit. We get that incredible halo jump over Paris, the motorcycle chase through traffic, and a brutal 3-man brawl in a white tiled bathroom, and a finale involving a helicopter chase and a ticking nuclear bomb. It's a lot, but it is amazing. Also, Julia's back. Her safety is tied directly to this mission, raising the stakes to their absolute highest. And in the end though, Ethan literally hangs off a helicopter by a rope and somehow saves the day and the world yet again. This one really just leans into the idea that Ethan will never choose the mission over a single life, and that's kind of what makes him the right person for these impossible jobs. Finally, we have Dead Reckoning. It's the most modern entry and the most timely too. The villain, it's a dude named Gabriel who's after this AI called the Entity. And the Entity, that thing's scary. It can manipulate data, disrupt intelligence agencies, and basically outthink every government on the planet. Ethan is told to find a key, a literal key that can unlock the Entity's source. But of course, every major power wants it, so now it's a race across the globe to find this key. And then we meet Grace, a clever thief played by Hayley Atwell, who gets roped into the chaos and forms a reluctant bond with Ethan. Meanwhile, Ilsa returns, as does the entire IMF crew. There's a deadly train sequence with Tom Cruise just driving off of a cliff and parachuting onto a moving train. You've probably seen the behind the scenes footage, but it all ends on a massive cliffhanger, both metaphorically and literally. The key is still out there, the Entity is growing, and Ethan is far from done. So there you have it, 7 impossible missions, 1 rogue AI, tons of fake identities, and a whole lot of Tom Cruise sprinting at full speed. The final reckoning is supposed to be the grand finale, so all these stories, all these threads, all these characters, they're leading somewhere. Will Ethan finally take down the Entity? Will he make it out alive? Will he take a nap? Thanks for checking out the recap. If it helped you prep for the next mission, make sure you hit that like button, maybe subscribe, and make sure you let me know in the comments which Mission Impossible moment made your jaw hit the floor. And if you're looking for a video about Tom Cruise and the crazy stunts that he did that are ranked, I have a video for it. You can check it out right here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.